morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. Welcome back to the Since I Was Young podcast, episode 47. Joining you as always is myself, Ewan Ramsey, and Alan Scrimger. Alan, have you got your passport ready, son? Boys and girls, Europe, fucking secured and in the best way possible. And what better way to actually do it by one, beating your closest rivals on the last day of the season before the split of the cinch premiership, but at the same time beating the closest rivals and send them down into the fucking bottom six fucking round you. Absolute scenes. So as you can probably tell, that is what we're going to talk about in the podcast today. Of course, we are referring to the Edinburgh Derby that was held just yesterday. As we are recording this, it is a Sunday afternoon. This will of course be going out on Tuesday. But Alan, just before we talk about the game, absolute scenes, and what a season so far it has been, and it's certainly not over yet.
No, it's amazing. I'm still buzzing after yesterday. Honestly, it was, yeah, like you said, I can't really say much more than what you said. Just summing it up, just absolutely smashed it. And yeah, it was the perfect way to end the regular season. And like you said, relegating them into the bottom six and keeping us in the European place was the main thing. Absolutely,
Alan, absolutely. It was a very frantic last day before the top six. Like, of course, there was a lot to play for, especially the teams trying to get into the top six, and now throughout the next few weeks as well, teams that will be trying to make that fourth spot. But Alan, we don't give a fuck about that. All we want to talk about is the derby. So that's certainly what we're going to do. And of course, we will take a look into the arguably bigger game when we go to Hampden next Saturday, also against Hibs, of course, in the Scottish Cup semi-final. So we'll do a bit of a preview on that. So before we get kicked off, as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to the Since I Was Young podcast via YouTube, please think about subscribing and smash that like button. As always, if you want to get in contact with us through our socials as well, they are on screen as well as in the description. And of course, if you want to get in contact with either myself or Alan, if you are watching it on YouTube, please feel free to do so. Our links will be in the description via Twitter. So Alan, there's so many ways we can start this. I think the best way, just not to get too carried away straight away, we can talk about the starting lineup. That was something that you text me about, strangely like enough, not the actual team as such, because like I thought all in all, even though we've still got a few key players out, I thought it was still a relatively strong squad, and certainly strong enough to actually beat Hibs as well. A bit of a strange one, reverting back to the 3-4-3, which like I wasn't too like sort of rattled about, but at the same time, do you feel that change from what we've been doing throughout the last few months, in terms of the shape that we've been doing? Do you think that was more for our sort of benefit, or would you feel like it was a case to match Hibs as they had the same sort of shape as well in the 3-4-3?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it was maybe to match up to them. Also because of the injuries that we've got as well, probably felt like, maybe having, because we've played obviously the two in the midfield in the 4-2-3-1 with Benny and Haring, or, Devlin and Benny, and maybe thought, maybe Halliday and Haring, as good as they are, as a two might not be the best idea in a Edinburgh derby, because Hibs, to be fair, their central midfielders are not bad. Not as good as ours, but they're not bad.
No, of course not.
So yeah, I think Robbie probably changed the system for reasons to kind of match up to them, and that was my initial thought anyway. And that's why I was a bit concerned about it, because I'm never, particularly at Tynecastle, I'm never a fan of us setting up to, counter an opponent. I want us to play how we play, rather than doing it to match up to them. But look, what do I know? it
What
worked out in the
do
end.
we
so-
know, Alan? Why do we even
Exactly.
do the podcast anyway? But
Exactly.
nonetheless, mate, nonetheless. But yeah, like I said beforehand, I thought the team, regardless, was strong enough to
Yeah.
match up to well, like I say, match up to Hibs, but again, who the fuck are they? But we got to be honest as well. I'd say the opening 15, I don't really feel we got like a real grip of the game. I don't think we managed to find our feet, like, for the first 15. I do have to admit, like, as well, I thought Hibs were a bit more dominant. Like, I thought they started the game relatively better than us. And obviously that showed in the opening five.
Yeah.
Like, of course, like, to concede from a counter after we just won a corner, like, as well. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest start, and of course the goal itself, again, like, I know these things happen as well, but like, for it to take two deflections, like, as well, again, like, in terms of of a, of of a Gordon trying to have a chance to save it again, like no matter how good you are. I do think like again, like, someone specifically I didn't think started the game particularly well, but did end it like really strong. I thought Cochrane got caught out a bit too easily. I thought, like, he kind of was a committed himself to going one way and then not being fast enough to track back to turn, like, where right went. But yeah, would you think it was a bit of a sloppy goal to concede, or would you say that Hibs actually made the counter work quite well, and the deflection was just a bit like unfortunate?
I think the start that we made wasn't great, because I think Hibs obviously had a plan for the first 10 minutes,
Yeah.
to press and get in our faces and, try and, because obviously our strength is our defenders are good with the ball at their feet and bringing it out. Halkett's good at it, Kingsley's good at it, Civic can do it.
Slowly but surely, no.
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with him yesterday, but he grew into the game like everybody else. But to be fair, I wasn't overly impressed with anyone in the first 10 minutes, to be quite honest with you, because we
not particularly.
And Hibs were, as I say, pressing us high up the pitch and putting the defenders and Gordon under some pressure. We kept giving the ball away. Then we go up the pitch, get a corner. Now Matt Macy in the Hibs goal is 6'7".
Yeah, big guy.
So it's going to have to be a hell of a delivery for him not to come out and just catch it. So yeah, and I was a bit annoyed about that, but anyway, Barry Mackay corner didn't work, and it was one of those, we kind of gifted it to them. But at the same time, we didn't deserve to not be like it. If it was still 0-0 after 10 minutes, I would be going, okay, we've got through that. But at the time when they scored, they deserved to score because they were the better team at that stage. But it wasn't. This is the thing. It wasn't a good goal. Like, it wasn't a well-worked goal. It was just a long ball that their boy Dre Wright got on the end of and ran at somebody, and then just hit a shot that obviously, like you say, deflected. And that Muller, he claimed it, but I don't think it was his goal, to be honest. But yeah, we didn't deserve to be at 0-0. Hibs started better, and they took the one chance that they had. So it was frustrating, but also probably deserved at that point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Alan. But at that same sort of turn as well, like, for once, there was a bit of a change in terms of how you and I felt in that sort of situation. Like, of course, like, I obviously tend to be the more optimistic one, but at this moment in time, I just thought it was kind of set up, like, in that sense where I genuinely think that Hibs would have put on a better performance and would have driven themselves to try and win that game with the reasons quite obvious to get in to the top six. But when they scored, I've got to be very honest, I thought, I feel as if this is kind of going in the way that I kind of felt in the first place. But you were actually pretty optimistic for once, Alan, weren't you?
I was. I think I've still got your hat somewhere.
Literally, give it back, mate. Fucking send it back. Send it back.
No, I just think that Hibs, like from their recent games anyway, I felt like if we could get the next one, I could only see this going one way. You know, Hibs don't score goals. They don't score many. Like in a game, I think their last 4 maybe, they've only managed to get 1 goal in the score lines. They've lost, they've drawn 1-1, they drew 0-0 before. So they don't score lots of goals in 90 minutes. So I was a bit like, whilst I was frustrated at conceding a goal right at the start,
Aye.
I think as well the fact that we kind of gifted it to them. They didn't really have to do anything. Made me think, well, you know, they've not really created that. It was just we defended poorly because we were all up the pitch, having, you know, been up for the corner. But yeah, it's Hibs, isn't it? It's just Hibs. I mean, what do you say? It's just Hibs.
What do you say, Alan? What can you say though? What can you say?
It's just Hibs. It's just Hibs things, mate. Just Hibs things. Like, you know, they were singing "We've Got Sean Maloney" for the first half an hour, and then I think he disappeared after a wee while because, the way the game ended up. But they were singing his praises. They were singing Andy Halliday's this, that, and the next thing.
Aye, I heard all that and all.
Just Hibs things, mate. Just Hibs things.
Absolutely.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Good lad, good lad. Well, even after that first, like initial first goal, like against us, like, you know, we did start to knock firmly on the door as well. Like, of course, like, you know, we had the half chance from the boys as well, which you looked like he fucking need the fuck out of Matt Macy, because literally after the natural save from Macy, like he just turns around like in the looks at Bugs, he's just like, well, fuck it, you know. But of course, like, you know, the more sort of bigger chance as well, whom I've got to give a lot of credit for throughout the whole game as well. Ellis Sims, you know, I think he's a player that is slowly starting to become one of our own, if that makes sense. Like, you know, he's got his own job, one job, like, you know, on the actual pitch. You know, it's to literally hold up that ball, bully the defenders, like, you know what I mean? And like, of course, well, we can't take away how, like, if Barry McKay has got a third eye somewhere, he just finds passes that nobody else fucking sees, and it's ridiculous. That inside ball was ridiculous, and it caught the whole Hibs and backline out. And like that shot, I genuinely thought, watching it from the telly, I thought that's in, like it's fucking done, and I cannot, like, I felt so bad for Ellison's, like literally like a few inches away from that just rolling in, but it was a really well worked move in that same sense though.
Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I was, obviously the Barry McKay pass was unbelievable, but Sims' run that he makes, he goes from the outside and he just goes in the blind side of the defender. I think it was maybe Bushiri or Hanlon, one of the two. He just appeared out of nowhere, and like you say, Barry McKay just finds him, because it's just what Barry McKay does. It's just what Barry fucking does. And you know, celebrating signing his new contract, hallelujah. With that would have been a brilliant start and a brilliant response to the Hibs goal, but it was one of those, even half the ground seemed to think it was in. Yeah, literally. You could hear it when he's chipped it over Macy, who's on the floor. Half the ground's cheering. And I'm like, I know. So was I. I was watching it at home, obviously, and I just about chucked my phone across the room because I thought it was a goal. I was like, yes, we're back in the game. This is brilliant. Literally, man. But yeah, I mean, what a goal it would have been as well, by the way. Dude. But I think Sims is such a quality player. He's, like you say, he's good at holding the ball up, good at using his strength and bringing others in, but he's quick as well. I know. He's got, and I hope, like, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do next season, but I hope that we have spoken to Everton about possibly getting him back on loan next year, because I think, why not? He's a big part of what we play in this. Even in the 3-4-3 system that we started with yesterday, it worked incredibly well. You're absolutely right, Alan. No, you're absolutely right, because again, like, you know, like we've all mentioned throughout the last few weeks, fair enough, it might kind of take away from his goal, Batali, but with
Sims in that sort of forward role with a boy kind of sitting in that number 10, it works, and it works well when it works. Like, you know what I mean?
It really does. It really does.
You know,
Yeah.
and to like, you know, and to have that sort of link up play with both Boyce and Sims, and then you've got Mackay just lets you go everywhere. Like, it can be really, really threatening.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we said it a few weeks ago, and I wasn't a big fan of Sims and Boyce playing together, but they've got that relationship now. They've developed it, and you could see it. Like, and like you say, Mackay just adds that little bit of sparkle when he needs to. But yeah, it was such a glorious chance, and if he'd scored it, but then we had one not long after that.
Yeah,
Barry Mackay cross, and Natty Atkinson, who I thought had a very good game, to be fair, grew into it like everybody else.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Caused them a lot of problems. Probably got a bit more involved in the game when that Dre Wright went off because he got injured and had to go off. But Atkinson just pops up at the back post and heads it against the crossbar. But it was one of those that, see, when I watched it first time, I thought that he should have scored that. But then the replay, I actually realised how difficult a chance it actually still was.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Like, the goalkeeper wasn't in front of him. It was virtually an empty net, but the angle he was at, it was not an easy one at all.
You're absolutely right. Like, and as you said, you like yourself, like, kind of looking back on it, well, then you showed the replay like at halftime. It was actually our ref, Bello Jambo, was it Colin Cameron, that I actually pointed out. I know what man,
glorious man, what a man he is.
What mate? He sounded pissed, by the way, like he sounded pissed about fucking on yourself, my man, on yourself. But no, like, you know, he said himself as well, like, you know, like, when the ball came in, it did take an initial touch, like it might have been from Messi, like, or was it Hanlon, like, or that, but it did take that initial touch as well, and for Atkinson to even get it like on target, like, you know what I mean, and if he managed to slot that in, that would have been like a ridiculous header in. But again, like, we were firmly knocking on that door literally right up until the last minute of half time. Now let's just like bask, let's just have a wee bit of silence here, and let's take a really quick review of the last 2 years, Alan, right? And I am unfortunately going to have to include you in this as well. So
it's fine. That's fine. So feel free.
Lovely. So, Daniel, if you're listening, mate, no, mate. Like, of course not. Love you, buddy. Yeah. No one, absolutely no one, had any faith. No one had any just preservation for this fine young man just to do well, just because he'd, like, you know, really likes a certain system pride of Glasgow, even though he's not got the best in class in terms of how he plays. He's a fucking fighter. He's a really, like, he's like, I genuinely, like, actually, like, you know, going back to it, he is such a character, and I think genuinely, like, you know, in the sense of a full strength squad and the whole squad, like, you know, I think you genuinely need to have, like, maybe one or two people like that in the squad, because mentally they will keep you going. And obviously, like, you know, we are referring to Andy Halliday, like, and of course, look, I'm always want to rile fuck up, even when he is, like, you know, absolute shite. But at the same time, I think I've got to be honest. Like, you've got to give him some sort of credit that maybe the start of the season, maybe, like, yeah, like, he started to improve in, like, you know, in small bits. But I think mainly after getting these a contract like extension, I think he's really started to, like, you know, understand Hearts and what it is like to actually play for that club, and I think he gets it. Like, you know what I mean? And I think, you know, throughout the sort of last few months, I think he's shown what he can give and what he can contribute as well. Yeah, like, granted, he's not going to be like a club legend or that, like, not at all. No. Like, in my eyes, absolutely. But it is shown what he can do and what he can give on the park for you. And, you know, again, good to go back to it, even when he's not having a great game, he will still try and try and try. And I think you do genuinely need these sort of people in your squad, even if they're not amazing in terms of your squad as an entirety. So would you agree with that, Alan? Would you agree, sir?
I would. I think.
Wonderful.
I think, like I said, I'll openly admit that I've not been an Andy Halliday fan, and I know there's lots of people out there that are not Andy Halliday fans.
Absolutely.
And some people, like you said, some people are fans of him for certain reasons, and some folk don't like him for reasons that have nothing to do with him actually playing football. My reasons for not really rating him were not really based off what he does off the pitch, because I don't care if he goes on whatever podcast and talks about Rangers. You know, I don't care about that, as long as he's doing the business on the pitch. And for a long time, I felt like he kind of wasn't.
No, you're absolutely right.
In terms of, like what you said, in terms of levels of quality compared to the rest. But there's no denying that he has done fantastically well recently.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he goes down in the Halkett levels of flipping my opinion completely, but he's certainly up there. He's certainly up there. And I think I messaged you earlier about this, that Andy Halliday is the sort of player that at the moment, you know, that would run through walls for that team. And that's amazing. You know, that's what you want. That's what you like. If he's not the best technical player, like there's teams all over Europe that have players like that are not the best technically, but they put in the effort, they put in the work. And you can tell that Halliday does that. And like you say, he does get hearts, and he does understand where he is and understand the size of the club and what it takes to play for us. I think the best thing, we've not even spoken about his goal yet, but I think the best thing about that game for him was he had a shot that he took on it was from a corner, and he chested it and smashed it over the bar. I
think he had two of them like as well beforehand. So
he did. So he had the one that I was referring to where he chested it down, smashed it over the bar.
Yeah.
And the Hibs fans obviously started their, you know, songs about him when he played for Rangers in the cup against them and all that nonsense. Andy Halliday's the sort of person that seems to revel in that, seems to really like being that villain, and seems to just think, well, do you know what? You know, keep going, because I'll you know, it sort of fed him to do what he ended up doing with the first goal.
Which he did, yeah.
Yeah, but I have to say that the first goal for me, Alex Cochrane does a great job as well.
He does, the
ball down the line into Sims.
Again, you've got to give so much credit to Ellis Sims. So much credit.
I think as well, though, I think it's an interesting one, because I watched it back again multiple times. Multiple times.
Of course.
Multiple times. And that's an understatement. But I've watched it back lots of times. And I'm actually like, Ellis Sims does brilliantly. He does absolutely brilliantly. He shrugs off defenders. Paul Hanlon's like hanging off.
Falling like a bag of shite, literally.
Yeah, he just absolutely ragdolls him, just chucks him to the floor. And to be honest, when I was watching it live, I thought Nick Walsh, who was the referee, I thought,
like he's 100%,
he's going to give Hibs a free kick for that, surely. But I'm really, obviously, delighted that he didn't, because it was just Sims doing what Sims does, and Hanlon trying to defend it. So it was just a good, honest tussle between two players that were going for the ball. Then I can't remember who the other Hibs defender was, but Sims sort of gets a wee bit lucky because it kind of deflects off him into the path of who was it then? So it was Sims, and then it was Halliday, I think, or was Barry Mackay in between that? Maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Anyhow,
the ball worked to Andy Halliday, and he just smashed it in. It wasn't even a great connection. Like, it wasn't a great finish.
Halliday does have a tendency to score goals across the face of goal. Like he does that quite a lot, but fucking I'll
He
take
does.
it any day of the week. Any day of the
He
week.
does. And I think the thing that kind of sets Halliday apart from the other midfielders that we've got in that position, I don't see a Devlin doing that. I don't see a Benny doing that. I don't see maybe Haring, but I don't.
No.
It's not their type of game. You know, Halliday was in a position and just thought, you know what, I'm going to hit it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit it. I'm going to cross the goalkeeper. It went through bodies. The goalkeeper had no chance. But yeah, it was just unbelievable. And then the noise when it went in was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Even through my own TV, mate, like fucking vibrating, like fuck.
Oh,
but no, like honestly, I mean that again, like you know, like any football fan will tell you to get back on level terms just before halftime. Obviously, like it goes without saying that it changed the dynamic drastically, absolutely drastically. And then obviously when we came back out into the second half, the fucking atmosphere still kept going, and it only took 5 minutes for our beloved left back Stephen fucking Kingsley again. Like we've got I kind of thought this like as well after the game as well, like you know, obviously there's still a few people who to kind of like establish themselves like in front of goal, but we've got a squad of like goal scorers. Like we've got a real squad of goal scorers, and I think if I'm right in saying, I think obviously like apart from Craig Gordon and Toby Sibbick, I think every single squad player that was playing yesterday has scored, like you know, at some point for throughout the season. And of course our main man who scored the second goal, like Kingsley, especially from a left back, being on fire with his goals, being on fire.
Yeah, just ridiculous. I mean, before I even talk about the goal, I think the half time, the significance of getting that goal right before the end of that first half. I think if it's 1-0 to Hibs at half time, they go into the dressing room and they're buzzing and they're delighted because they've got a lead and Maloney's praising them, saying how well they've played. We go in 1-0 down and our heads are down and we're thinking, oh God, you know, it's a derby, the fans are quiet, this isn't good. But obviously it completely changed what was said at half time. Like you say, second half started. And as I said, Hibs don't score more than one goal. So when Kingsley, the goal itself was actually, it was a corner that was played in that was then cleared to Halliday. And Haring gets it. And nobody closes him down. No Hibs player goes anywhere near him. And it's funny because you see Kingsley at the back post and he puts his arm up. Like he's still in there. Boyce is there as well. There's enough options there. And
exactly.
Hibs obviously have not done their homework on Peter Haring because Peter Haring
clearly not.
He could play that kind of pass every single day of the week and picked out Kingsley at the back post, but it was just madness. Like
mate, like again,
it was hilarious though because it just like the game was, in my eyes, when the second goal went in, the game was done. I'm thinking,
it was done. It was literally, it was again, just saying it from watching it on a TV. So I could only imagine what it was like inside the stadium. I mean, you probably do, Alan. Our junior place is literally fucking right next to it. But literally, I can only imagine the feeling of when that second goal went in. Because, of course, like, you know, we'll talk about the rest of the half, like, as well. But like you said, when the second goal went in, you know, you still had 40 minutes left, but yet you felt that the game itself, like, was done. Hibs had fuck all. They had nothing. They were offering no threat to us whatsoever. We were just literally paying for like their heads. Like essentially any opportunity that we had, even like some half chance, you just thought, okay, I got an opportunity, and they just fell again. Just to quote myself, like a bag of shite.
Yeah, they just, you could just see it. Like the Hibs heads just totally went. Like they had no answer to what had just happened. Obviously,
crumbling like a digestive, mate. There you go.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. They just, Yeah, but it was one of those, and I think the fact that Hibs needed to win to stay in the top six. I think when we scored that second goal,
Yeah.
I think there was a realization of, right, this is done, and to see Hibs fans leaving on the 50th whatever minute it was, I'm sitting there like the fans knew that it was done. They knew it was done, and
I know.
That, I mean, obviously, it's easy to say it now in hindsight, having watched the game and it's already happened. But that's why I felt when they went 1-0 up, because I was like, this game's not done. This is still so early. They can still Hibs it, and they did Hibs it. They Hibsed it in glorious Hibs fashion.
I know, Alan, but like you said yourself, like it's very easy for us to say it like as Hearts fans, but there's so many part timers in that, fan base of Hibs. So many part timers. Like even when they are in like a good running form, where's the fans at? Like I'm genuinely saying that as a football supporter. Like where the fuck are the fans? Like it's like honestly, like if you want to like the one picture that one absolutely broke me, but two, we did say it was a kind of fair play to them with that one picture of that one Hibs fan in the Roseburn section, literally the one fan that stayed. Like, I mean, fair play, but mate, you're a fucking brave man for staying there.
I would, to be fair, I would have gone as well. Like, you don't want to be the last person sitting there. But even talking about like their fan base and stuff, obviously, before we turn this into some sort of Hibs podcast, but I read on Twitter, as I like to do, there was a Hibs fan that posted something along the lines of, just win, please, Hibs. This could be the chain reaction to lead to more ticket sales for the semi-final. And that summed it up for me. I'm thinking, you shouldn't need to beat us in a league game to sell more tickets. We've, and we've not even mentioned this, but we had our tickets on sale for less time than they've had. We've sold out already, and there's still plenty of space in the Hibs end.
And we've been given more. We've been allocated more fucking tickets. Like, mate.
I know.
I understand. Support your club, back your club, move, like, good or bad.
Yeah, the thing is, like, there are Hibs fans, there are loyal Hibs fans.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
we know some. Like, I know some Hibs supporters that go near enough every week. Pity them. Like, I don't know how they can sit through that, but I mean, they go every week and they're going to Hampden, and they were going to go to Hampden regardless of what happened at the weekend. But if you're relying on one result against your rivals to influence whether you go to a game of football or not, it's like,
have a fucking word. Like, really?
Yeah, but I just think that, like, as I say, without turning this into some sort of podcast,
like, it is relevant though, Alan. You know what I mean?
And I said this to you when it happened, I just think Sean Maloney is their Ian Castro, to be honest. I don't see it working. I think I was talking to a friend of mine last night after the game, actually, and they kind of said similar. They said, there's a clear plan of what Maloney's trying to do, because you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to play a certain way, and he doesn't have the players to play that way. But it's just not working. And I mean, it's glorious. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely glorious 100%. That it's not working. But there's a part of me that thinks if we beat them in the semi-final, he could get sacked. He could, because bottom six and getting beat by your rivals in a semi-final of a cup competition.
It would be very harsh, but at the same time, fucking outrageously hilarious, Alan. But like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But yeah.
Turning back to the tides of the actual game itself, like, of course, like, when, like we said, like, when that second goal went in from Kingsley again, you kind of felt, right, it's certainly in our hands to lose, like, you know what I mean? But, again, like, when mentioned as well, any sort of half chance or like a counter, you just thought, fucking make it 4, make it 5, which arguably, for the chances that we had in the first and second half, it could have possibly been. But again, just so I can hear it and imagine it just one more time, because as you can probably imagine, I've went through a whole my box of tissues actually watching it, Alan. So if you'd like to describe us the third glorious goal from my main man, just please fucking music to my ear, sir. Do it.
Yeah, so it was Barry Mackay with a driving run that we've become so accustomed to him doing, just taking the ball and just running at people. I saw Andy Halliday behind him and I thought he's going to run into him. He's going to knock him over. Like they're going to get in each other's way. Like
you knew,
it looked as if
you saw it happen.
It looked as if they were going to get in each other's way, and I thought, oh God, right, Halliday standing in the wrong place or whatever. But Barry Mackay just skips away, and like I know you love the finish, and I know you love Andy Halliday, but that Barry Mackay back heel.
Oh mate, you can't take anything away from him. You cannot. The man's a little magician. It's ridiculous. How we got him on a free, Alan? That is ridiculous.
I know. I can't get.
You can't fathom. And the fact that, like you said, that we've got him now on a 3-year deal now, like even if he does go, I don't want to say that, but even if he does go, you're talking dollar bills on
$5 million. $5 million, and someone can have him. Yeah,
fucking right sound. I'll do it.
$5 million. That's his asking price. Anything less than that, you can get in the bin.
Get in the bin.
But no, the back heel was fantastic. Andy Halliday picks it up, takes a couple of touches, and again does something that, again, like I said for his first goal, does something that I don't think any of our other midfielders would do. Just thinks, I'm not getting closed down. No, I'm just going to have a shot.
Just fucking do it. Yeah, why not, Alan? No, why not?
I think Benny, I think Devlin, maybe Haring again might have had a shot, but I don't see them doing it. But I see Halliday going, do you know what? I've already got one.
Fuck it,
I'm gonna hit it. You know,
why not?
He's hit it. And initially I thought Matt Macy should have done better with it, but it was actually a very well hit shot, to be honest.
No bad, was it? No bad.
Nah, but again, just absolute scenes. And like you said in your little Andy Halliday tribute not too long ago there, I can't think of a guy that deserved it more, to be honest.
On that day, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think, like you said,
dogs abuse and all that. It was amazing just to see it, and then obviously the celebrations and everything. It's just I didn't even speak about the celebrations after his first goal.
Again, thank you, Heart Ahmed Lobby Instagram page for making things in slow-mo. It just makes it so much better. Much better.
We didn't even talk about his celebrations after the first goal with Alex Cochran shushing the Hibs end and
him and the boys. Like if I hadn't seen the goal itself, I genuinely would have thought Boyce has scored. He was giving it fucking loudy. Absolute loudy at the Hibs fans.
But I think this is the thing again, like you said about Andy Halliday being a character in the dressing room. Like all the players, obviously it's a close-knit group.
Aye.
They can all hear the Hibs fans singing about him and winding him up. And Halliday will have told them, I'm going to get dogs abuse in this game. So they'll have been as delighted as he was to score that goal. Because it's like the perfect person, the pantomime villain, the guy that Hibs fans love to hate. Pops up and scores 2 goals and absolutely sinks them. But yeah, as I say, it couldn't have happened to a more deserving guy. And then when you see things on social media talking about this game will be defined as the Andy Halliday derby, it's like, but that, you know what I mean? It's
I get you. No, man, I get you.
Special moments in special games. Like there have been players down the years that have scored winning goals against Hibs in derbies, and they've been big goals. And this is Andy Halliday's moment. And you know what? I'm like,
he thrived on it. Yeah, no, man. Like he's thrived on that.
Oh yeah. And he absolutely deserved it. Like again, as I say, if you don't hit that shot, you're not going to score. Like,
absolutely
why not? Why not have a goal? Hibs were done by that point. So why not make it worse? Why not make it worse?
I mean, I just wish we didn't make it worse, mate. But mate, I'll take that any day of the fucking week. 3 goals like against, and I would just like to say to all the Hearts fans, you are welcome, because we said in our last predictions, I did go for a 0-0 draw just to jinx it. You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, Alan, genuinely, I don't know if there's really anything else to talk about the game, because, like, you know, again, it was done, it was finished. Obviously, like, you know, the man of the match Andy Halliday. I'm pretty sure as well, if I'm right in saying that, the Legends man of the match as well also went to none other than Barry Mackay. So again, you cannot complain about that. And of course as well that fully secured Europe for next season, which is absolutely delightful. Of course, throughout once the season is actually done, of course we will do a review of the season. But Alan, just to kind of put things into perspective as well, going back from where we were 12 months ago, by this point we were almost near the end of the championship season, and of course it wasn't an easy ride. We went to places that shouldn't really be allowed to host a football game, and we had some horrific results as well. But where we've come from, again, throughout the start of that championship seasons, with everything that was going on as well, we've come such a long way. And I know it's very easy to say that in the form that we've been in throughout the season, but it has been such a terrific season, and one of the most, one of the best in terms of a fan football club sort of a connection. I've me personally, I felt so close to the club, with the squad, with the stadium, with with individual players as well, like the foundation. It's all felt as one, and it's genuinely been such a terrific season, mate. And to take this next step into next year as well. Of course, I got the semi-final as well. But just to sum it up, do you pretty much feel the same as well, or do you maybe feel that there's still lots more to actually come in the next year as well, mate?
I think you've basically hit the nail on the head, to be honest. I think the club just feels a lot more united, a lot more, everybody's going off the same things, everybody's aiming for the same things, but everybody's working towards the same things. You talk about the foundation and the money they're putting in and the benefactors and all that. It's great. It's absolutely brilliant, because without those people, we wouldn't be where we are. But obviously the foundation is the fan base. So we spoke about Hibs fans before. I'm sure, look, Hibs fans could probably do the same thing that we've done. And who knows, if Ron Gordon gets a bit fed up, they might have to at some point. But no, back to us. I think we do feel like a club that is going in the right direction. And Robbie said it after the game. He spoke about it and basically said, this is a club that should be in Europe. That's the table we should be at. And it's just nice to feel like, you know what, they're not just words anymore, because we've had it before and to be fair, from Robbie the first time as well.
For sure.
A lot of previous people that have been associated with the club have made, promises and said, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, we should be here, we should be there. But it just felt like they just said it because they had to.
Probably, yeah.
Again, like we said about Halliday, he's got his critics. Robbie Nielsen's another one.
Of course.
He's had his critics over the last year. And the club took a lot of criticism for not getting rid of him after the Brora game last season.
Yeah.
And it's obviously shown, well, do you know what? Maybe the right thing was to actually keep him and write that game off as a fluke or, a disappointing result, but you move on. It's nice, the structure of the club is where it should be. And we're not there yet. We're not.
No, of course not.
We're not where we want to be yet. But winning things is the next step for this team. Last year, Scottish Cup final, 2 penalties away from winning it. This year's semi-final, it's get into later stages of cup competitions and trying to compete for silverware. Because let's be honest, we're not going to compete for a league title, because that will always be between Celtic and Rangers.
Of course,
there's no question about that. But if we can get to cup finals and, you know, be in with a chance of doing something, then that's a bonus. And obviously trying to continue staying third would be great as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it more in a few weeks when we do our end of season episode.
Definitely.
Which will obviously include the forfeit that will come from the predictions table. But yeah, we won't go into that too much.
No, yet.
But just looking ahead to the semi-final, because I think that's the best next place to go. I think it's one of those, I'm always confident when we play against Hibs because it's just how I am.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm confident in next weekend, but there's also that element of we have to remember this is going to be a different game.
Yeah.
You know, we've beaten them 3-1 deservedly. It's funny because every Edinburgh derby tends to be scrappy, tends to be awkward. That game yesterday was none of those things in the second half. The first half was a little bit scrappy, kind of end to end every now and again, but the second half was like a training exercise. And I honestly think if we hadn't been playing them next weekend in a semi-final, we probably would have went on and scored 4, 5.
Yeah.
But I think the players just kind of thought,
well,
it's done.
It's done, isn't it? Yeah.
We can rest for half an hour rather than play any football.
Yeah, no, true,
but yeah, like it'll be a different game. Semi-final, different game, different atmosphere. Hampden, Sean Maloney will have a point to prove.
Yeah.
His Hibs players will have a point to prove. They'll have Porteous back because obviously he had a suspension for the league game. And you know, love Porteous or hate Porteous, he does make their defence better when he's in it.
True.
But yeah, look, I think if we play as well as we can play in the semi-final, we've got enough to win that game.
Oh,
we've got enough to win
100%,
that game.
yeah.
And but again, like I say, I'm confident, but there's also that tiny percentage that's just going, don't get too carried away. And this is why I said it myself, that I was gloating last night because
why not? Why wouldn't you? Exactly.
I'm reflecting on it today. I'm still buzzing. It's absolutely brilliant. I'll go into work tomorrow. I'll be absolutely buzzing because there's Hibs fans at work who will be hearing about this.
Definitely.
But at the end of the day tomorrow, it's switched off again.
It's done. Yeah.
Look to the next one. And Robbie was telling the players the same thing. You know, that this game's done. We go on to the next one. And that's the mentality that I love, because it's like, celebrate something when you've done it. But then once that 90 minutes is done, next game. It's all about the next game. And the next game for us is massive. Absolutely massive.
Could not agree with you more, Alan. Like, I do agree with you, like, you're in the fact, like, you know, going through to Hampden, it's going to be a totally different game. Like, of course, like, you know, we tend to like our, like, you know, smaller, compact, like, sort of pitch as well. Obviously, Hampden, like, huge pitch. And I think from a certain aspect, that might suit Hibs better. Like, of course, like, you know, with them, whatever system we play as well, I think, you know, that's obviously going to be a factor to try and find, like, you know, ways to break down, like, our sort of back line, like, as well. But again, I don't need to go into too much in detail where, you know, saying, like, you know, this or that, like, you know, I could depend on this or that. But with Hibs and how they play and how Maloney, like, trying to get them to play, if they want to have a chance in this game, personally, they need to get a few goals early on. Otherwise, even, like, you know, like, again, like, you know, yesterday was a absolute prime example of that. You can't expect to score in the opening 5 and expect them to shut up shop. That's not how it works. Like, you have to build on it, and I don't think they've had enough time for them to embed it, like, you know, to actually play how he wants them to actually play. So I don't think, like, you know, like I just said, with Hampden being a massive pitch. I don't think they're going to have the sustainability to keep that going over 90 minutes. So I think that's actually going to be an advantage in a way for us as well. And we're glad again, Alan. It's Hampden. It's Hibs. They're no fucking winning. They're no fucking winning.
Exactly. I think you're right. I think it's one of those games that, you know, we should win. We should win. I'll say it again.
We should win.
But yeah, like it's just, I don't know. I really like. Obviously, we've sold out our allocation. The fans are going to be bouncing because of yesterday's result. And Hampden is a different environment completely. Obviously, lunchtime Hampden. It'll be interesting. It really will be interesting. It'll be a different kind of game. Different kind of game. But again, like I said, I think the biggest thing for me will be how Robbie plays it, because does he stick 3-4-3 or does he go 4-2-3-1? Does he bring Devlin back, who's basically said he's ready to go? Halliday tweaked his Achilles in the game yesterday. Got a standing ovation when he went off.
Oh yeah,
which was
fucking
massively
rightly
deserved.
so.
Yep. In the Andy Halliday derby. So it'll be interesting to see whether, I mean, has he done enough to play against them at Hampden? Will he be fit enough to play against them at Hampden? So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it, because I want to see how we set up. I want to see what happens. Suter, no word on him yet. He might be back, he might not be.
Who knows, yeah.
Strangely though, I'm kind of less concerned about that, because defensively we're solid enough. Obviously Suter does make us better. There's no question. I think if it was a choice between Suter and Civic playing at the back, I would 100% say Suter.
100% Suter, yeah.
But if it needs to be, then it needs to be, you know, and I think, like I say, it'll be really, really interesting. Hibs have had some players out, as I said. They'll be back for the game, but yeah, we should win. We should win.
Just keep saying that should win. Well, anyways, Alan, on that note, for the last bit of the podcast, of course, sitting at 22 points each with only, a maximum of 7 games, like including next week for the Scottish Cup semi, and if we do get through on to the final as well, plus the remaining 5 games in the top 6 split. I'll go just say that one more time. Top 6 split. So, Alan, I would like to ask for your prediction in the semi-final. Or in fact, no, scrap that. I will take that back. Since I asked yourself last week, I would like to present my prediction actually first. Go for it. Thank you, sir. I think, again, obviously, like, you know, we spoke about this last week as well. I think if Hibs won that game, I think it would actually give them more of a confidence boost to go on and maybe make something of the derby in the semi-final next week. But even though we did win, and we won very convincingly throughout the second half, it gave us a boost, but I don't think it's as much as a boost as it will when I gave Hibs. So in that sense, I'm not going to be too complacent. I don't think Hibs are going to be a non-starter. I think they are going to probably start how they did. It's whether or not they can make something of that and try and create more goals. So in that same sense, I'm going to go for a very, very optimistic one. I don't know why I'm going for this, but I am going to go for Hearts 4, Hibs 2. It's a very optimistic one, but like we've talked about, I think Maloney will want Hibs to score goals, even if they do or not. I think he has to because again, any fucker could say this. Obviously, you need to score goals to win football matches. So, and that's
Michael Owen commentary there.
You obviously have to score goals to win football matches, don't you? But anyhow, we'll just erase that from everybody's memory, please do. But in that very same sense, you know what I mean? They'll be obviously up for it as well. Maybe not as much as us, but they've got the fantastic, 12th man. That is us, so they don't really need more like enticement to go on and win that game. But I think there will be goals. I think there will be goals. And yeah, so I'm going to go for a very optimistic one. Hearts 4, Hibs 2.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think there will be goals as well. But I think now this is you've thrown me off a bit.
See, there you go, man.
I think, like I said, it'll be a different game from the league game. They'll be out for a bit of revenge. Of
course,
which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I agree with you saying that they would have taken more confidence than we have, because I think in our corner it's a case of, well, we've had the better season, we've finished higher at the table, we've scored more goals, we've got more points. We should be the favourites going into it. But that doesn't always mean anything.
No, it doesn't, no.
But to that end, I'm going to go for a Hearts 2, Hibs 0.
Pretty more
because
accurate as like as well.
Yeah, just because I just feel like I don't.
Yeah, no, mate. I get you.
I could be wrong. You know, we could lose, but I don't think we will. But I think it'll be a case
of... Say the shite in me, Alan. Fucking hell.
I think it'll be a case of we're going to turn up and do our job. And if we turn up and do our job well enough and our key players impose themselves on the game, we'll win the game. I think our players, player for player, we've got a better team than them. And if they turn up and play the best that they can, then we win it.
Oh, we'll absolutely floor them, man. Absolutely floor them. So... Yeah. Well, and in that same vein as well, we would love to hear all your guys' opinions as well, what you think the scoreline will be for the semi-final. Do you think Robbie will stick to the same shape, or do you think he'll go to the alternative 4 at the back? And do you think Andy Halliday will score a hat-trick next week, mate? Fucking scenes. Fucking build that fucking statue now if that happens. Seriously.
I was gonna say.
I'll build it myself. I'll get some. Was it some like fucking? Was it paper mache and fucking just create my own statue? Like, you know what I mean? I'll make it happen. I will start.
I'm surprised.
GoFundMe. I'll start GoFundMe for an Andy Halliday statue.
Mate, if he bags even a goal, like I would love to see BT levels of celebration from Andy Halliday at Hampden if he scores a goal.
100%, mate. But yeah, we would love to hear all your thoughts for next week's Scottish Cup semi-final between Hearts and Hibs. 12 o'clock. Stupid fucking kickoff. But anyhow, we move on. But yes, on that note, that comes to the end of the episode 47 of the Since I Was Young podcast for all things Heart of Midlothian news, chats and reviews. Thank you to all for watching as always. And of course, if you're not still subscribed to the Since I Was Young podcast, please think about subscribing. Smash that like button as always. If you want to get in contact with us through our socials as well, you certainly can do. Twitter, Instagram and Facebook on screen and in the description, all at SIWY Pod. And alternatively, if you also want to email us as well, please do, since I was young 1874@gmail.com. And if you want to get in contact with either myself, or if you want to send me any sort of Andy Halliday merch, Andy Halliday, if you are watching, fucking highly doubtful, but mate, come on for an interview. I probably won't be able to do it because I'll literally have something vibrating so far up my arse I won't be able to do an interview. But honestly, come on to the show, please. You're more than welcome. Don't worry, Alan. I'll cut that out, but it's fine. Anyhow, thank you very much for joining me, Alan. As always, mate, it's been an absolute buzzing weekend. And when we sit down next week, let's just hope it's an even buzzing time. And we've got a Scottish Cup final to look forward to, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's hoping, fingers crossed, we can turn up, as I say, and put them away.
Absolutely.
Put them firmly in the bin.
The Gorgie rules apply, my man. Gorgie rules apply. And on that same note, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. You take care. Bye for now.